Matilda put up her hand. She was the only one. Miss Honey looked carefully at the tiny girl with dark hair and a round, serious face sitting in the second row. "Wonderful," she said. "Please stand up and recite as much of it as you can." Matilda stood up and began to say the 2 times table. When she got to twice 12 is 24, she didn't stop. She went right on with twice 13 is 36, twice 14 is 28, twice 15 is 30, twice 16 is... "Stop," Miss Honey said. She'd been listening slightly spellbound to this smooth recital, and now she said, "How far can you go?" "How far?" Matilda said. "Well, I don't really know, Miss Honey, but quite a long way, I think." Miss Honey took a few moments to let this curious statement sink in. "You mean," she said, "that you could tell me what 2 times 28 is?" "Yes, Miss Honey." "What is it?" 56, Miss Honey." "What about something much harder, like 2 times 487? Could you tell me that?" "I think so, yes," Matilda said. "Are you sure?" "Why, yes, Miss Honey, I'm fairly sure." "What is it then? What's 2 times 487? 974, Matilda said immediately. She spoke quietly and politely and without any sign at all of showing off. Miss Honey gazed at Matilda with absolute amazement, but when she next spoke she kept her voice level. "That is really splendid," she said. "But of course multiplying by 2 is a lot easier than some of the bigger numbers. What about other multiplication tables? Do you know any of those?" "I think so, Miss Honey. I think I do." "Which ones, Matilda? How far have you got?" I don't quite know," Matilda said. "I don't know what you mean." "What I mean is, do you, for instance, know the 3 times table?" "Yes, Miss Honey." "And the 4 times?" "Yes, Miss Honey." "Well, how many do you know, Matilda? Do you know all the way up to 12 times tables?" "Yes, Miss Honey." "What are 12 sevens?" 84, Matilda said. Miss Honey paused and leaned back in her chair behind the plain table that stood in the middle of the floor in front of the class. She was considerably shaken by this exchange, but took care not to show it. She'd never come across a 5-year-old before, or indeed a 10-year-old, who could multiply with such facility. "I hope the rest of you are listening to this," she said to the class. "Matilda's a very lucky girl. She has wonderful parents who've already taught her to multiply lots of numbers." "Was it your mother, Matilda, who taught you?" "No, Miss Honey, it wasn't." "You must have a great father, then. He must be a brilliant teacher." "No, Miss Honey," Matilda said quietly. "My father didn't teach me." "You mean you taught yourself?" "I don't quite know," Matilda said truthfully. "It's just that I don't find it very difficult to multiply one number by another." Miss Honey took a deep breath and let it out slowly. She looked again at the small girl with bright eyes standing beside her desk, so sensible and so solemn. "You say you don't find it difficult to multiply one number by another," Miss Honey said. "Could you try to explain that to me a little bit?" Class 2, for your task today, it's your job to think about your vocabulary Victor questions. So your question for today, for vocabulary Victor, is try to find me 2 adjectives from those few pages we just read. 2 adjectives that describe what Miss Honey's first impression of Matilda was. Find me 2 adjectives to describe Miss Honey's first impression of Matilda.